Welcome. This is the first video to the course THL510 Historical Theology Survey. This is a course for the Asia Biblical Theological Seminary, and my name is Dr. Kevin Zuber, and I am the instructor professor for this course. Welcome to the class. I'm glad that you have joined with us. I want to start out right away by saying this is the first time I have ever taught a course using this particular method of videos that will be posted. And so I hope that you will be patient with me. I hope you will be understanding. And I hope over the course of this class that I will get better at making these videos and that I will provide you with the information and the understanding that will make this a very profitable class for you. Again, this particular video is intended to be a survey of just the syllabus for this class. There is a copy of the syllabus on Moodle for you to follow along. If you haven't printed that or you don't have access to that, I would recommend that you be following along with that because I'm not going to deal with every aspect of the syllabus. But before I get to that, I'd like to just briefly introduce myself again. I have been an adjunct professor for Asia Biblical Theological Seminary for I think about 15 years, maybe a little longer than that now. Going back to my studies, I studied at Grace Theological Seminary, Grace College before that in Indiana. And then I studied for my PhD at Trinity Evangelical Divinity School in Deerfield, Illinois, just north of Chicago. I have had 18 years of pastoral ministry before I started a teaching career full-time. And then I spent 17 years at a Bible college in Chicago. And right now I am professor of theology and chairman of the theology department at the Master's Seminary in Southern California on the campus of Grace Community Church. Again, I am thrilled to have you with us, and I hope that in the course of our study together, you'll again find this course to be very profitable. But first, let's go ahead and do a quick survey in this video of the syllabus, and that will allow us to have some idea of really what we're aiming at in this particular course. So, first of all, let me talk about the course descriptions, rather. The course description, this is an introductory survey. So again, I want to make sure that you're aware of that. We won't have time to get into a lot of details, but we'll talk about the church fathers and the major theologians up to the modern day. The course highlights significant events, councils, persons, and writings. There will be some of that in the lectures. There will be some of that in the readings that we're going to see. And I do want to spend some time, as much as I can, to draw the parallels or connections to the Asian Christianity to demonstrate the importance of historical theology for Asian Christianity. Let's talk quickly about the course objectives. You can read them, so I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. We want to have an intermediate comprehension of major theological developments, and just so that you have an idea of the significant theologians, the significant events in the history of Western church history. Now, when I say Western, I don't just mean to limit it to a geographical area so much as to understand that what we're talking about here is the course of theology follows a path that starts, of course, in Israel, in the Eastern Mediterranean. It involves, we're going to see, African theologians from North Africa, very important there. And then, of course, the historical theology moves along with church history through Western Europe and other parts of Europe. And I don't want that to be an impediment for anyone because we're not talking about a culture, we're talking about theology. So the theology of the Bible and the theology of Christianity is what it is throughout the world. It just has its historical roots in these particular areas that we'll be looking at. Again, I want us to be able to identify important theologians and leaders of church history. to evaluate how, point B there, how society and culture, politics and philosophy influenced the development of historical theology. And that's going to help us to know how those kinds of things can affect us, society, culture, politics, and philosophy today, so that we can avoid some of the mistakes they made and learn from how they managed to do it in a way that brings us the kinds of theology that we are preaching and teaching today. We're going to do that by looking at some of the historical documents. The Nicene Creed, among others, is going to feature prominently. I want you to value historical theology because it's important to understand how we got to something like the Nicene Creed, for instance, or how the Reformation documents that we'll be looking at, how they came to be, how they were formulated, because that's the way to appreciate them and even incorporate them and understand them in our understanding of both the Bible and in the ministry that God has called each one of us to do. I want to highlight now the course text that we'll be looking at. The course text is, of course, Bruce Shelley's book, The Church History in Plain Language. It's a book that I've used before. When I was developing this, I found out that there's a 5th edition of it, so that's good. So we'll be assigning readings out of that. You'll be reading most of that book just to get a historical overview, so we understand the flow of history that we're going to be looking at in historical theology. There will be other readings that we're going to be looking at. Those will be either posted in PDF form, and they will also have some links to read some other readings. I think it's important when we're studying history that we try to read at least some of the primary sources for theology, and so we'll have an opportunity to do some of that. I want to talk about the rationale for these course assignments here. Just to tell you, so there will be readings from the textbook. There will be these other readings, as I've talked about, and there will be some summaries of the video lectures, and then there's going to be a paper. But I want to just understand why these assignments are there. They're not chosen at random. Again, I'm having you read Bruce Shelley's book in order to just give you the overall flow of church history. Church history and historical theology are obviously parallel disciplines, and they often talk about the same individuals and some of the same issues. But historical theology isn't quite so much concerned with what happens next, the sort of just the events as they follow one after the other. And that's why in historical theology, you're going to see that there are some gaps. We're going to jump over quite a number of years, because during those years, while a lot was happening in church history, not as much was happening in terms of the development of historical theology. So that's the distinction between those disciplines. The readings are going to be there with some forums, as I've already said, so that you can read the primary sources. It's important for you to have some contact with the actual writings of the theologians who are formulating the theology, and some of those can be eye-opening. Some can be, frankly, difficult to read sometimes, but they're important and helpful. And this is the part of the course then that allows some interaction, as you will be engaging in some forums, answering some questions, and dealing with some critical thinking issues with other members of the class. The video lectures are meant to highlight the key developments and important theologians, and the summaries of these video lectures are intended to help you digest and assimilate the information, so that we won't have to give you quizzes or make you take a test over it, just to make sure that you are following the videos and following the lectures. These summaries, I think, I've discovered over the years, are a lot more helpful than just asking students to memorize a bunch of names, dates, and bits of information that they're not likely to retain. But if you make a summary of them, I think that turns out to be very helpful, something you can refer to back even after the course is over. Finally, of course, the paper, as you have in all your classes or most of your classes, is meant to demonstrate the skill and facility of the student in research and analysis and in written verbal expression. So also very important. So let me go ahead then and move on to some other issues here. Sorry, backing up. When doing the reading, you will be required to do reading summaries. You'll read the assigned portion of the class textbook. That's, again, Bruce Shelley's book. It's been divided up into 5 readings. You can see how that's done on the week-by-week outline or schedule of the course on Moodle. There are about 90 pages each for these readings, so they'll be, again, it's not too difficult, and those pages often are it's not a full 90 pages. There's a number of other things going on, but that's basically what you're going to be reading. What I'm looking for here, notice carefully, a 2 to 4 page double-spaced summary and analysis of the reading that you get from this textbook. Now, this summary is not meant to sort of reproduce everything. I don't want you to retype up the book or anything. Understand the point of the summary is that you can show me that you have read the book, you read it carefully enough that you follow the argument and you understand the flow of things, and I want you to show me that you can basically interact with it, some analysis. Let me know what you found informative, what you found that leaves you with some questions. That's okay. Or how did the information in this reading change or challenge your understanding? So that's, again, about 2 to 4 pages. So don't make it all summary. Make it some of your interaction. Show me that you're thinking while you're reading and asking questions and having questions answered. This paper should be uploaded on Moodle. Please notice that this is worth 200 points. So with 5 readings, each one of these reading summaries is going to be worth 40 points. Reading forums. Again, you will see this on Moodle. I'm hoping that many of you have had the experience of engaging in reading forums on Moodle, answering the questions and interacting with the other students. I will be following those as well, offering some input here and there. But you need to do these online. So these are online forums, Moodle-based, and again, answering some generic questions, interacting with the answers from the other students. It's fairly easy to do, but you have to be diligent in making sure that you keep doing that. I won't read these for you, but these are the questions you have to answer in the forum. Make sure that you are engaging with these questions in terms of responding to the readings, again, that will be posted on Moodle. And you're just going to read them and you're going to answer these 4 questions, and then you're going to do some interaction with the other students about the readings. Again, notice that this is, again, worth 20% of the total grade, or about 300 points. So these are worth 60 points each. So that's a pretty important part of the grade, to do the online readings and do the PDF, read the PDF readings, and then interact with them online. In terms of the readings for the reading forums, I have highlighted the parts that you're to read on this syllabus, as you're seeing it from when you read the whole thing or look at the whole thing on Moodle. So make sure you do that. It should be fairly explanatory, and I've even provided some links for these readings. So it'll be all the readings are going to be on PDFs, but there are some links if you want to sort of read maybe some of the context or a little bit more of the same material, just to make sure that you understand. So again, all of these links and everything that's there is already on Moodle for you. The weekly video lecture summaries. At the end of each week of videos, video lectures, the student will write a 2 to 3 page double-spaced summary of the lectures for that week. Now, I want to be clear here. There's going to be a number of videos, so I don't want a summary for each one of the videos. Whether it's 4 or whether it's 6 videos for that week, you should watch all of those videos and write up a summary for all the videos. Not for the individual videos, but for all the videos. In fact, you don't have to write up a summary for this particular video or the other video that will be posted for week 1. But thereafter, you're to watch the videos, whether they're 4 videos or 6 videos, and then write up a summary of all of them. You can do that by a paragraph or so for each video, or however you want to do it. Again, this is pretty much the same as with the reading summaries. The summary should include just enough of the content to let me know that you watched the video carefully and you followed along with the information in that video carefully, and that you do some analysis. Again, ask questions about the video, or say what you liked about the video, or what you liked about the information. These are the kinds of things. So you're interacting. So summary and interaction again. You turn this paper in on Moodle, as you do with the reading summaries from the book. This is 20% of the total grade. So each one of these videos is going to be somewhere in the realm of 16 to 17 points per summary. So this is going to take some diligence. So make sure that you are careful in taking notes while you're watching the videos, and then turn those into these summaries and analysis papers. I just wanted to make a note here that these 3 elements of the course so far, the reading out of the textbook, the reading out of for the reading forums, and the videos are not always going to be over exactly the same material each week. That is, we're kind of jumping around a little bit back and forth in terms of it'll be generally early church, Reformation era, modern era, etc. But I hope that isn't too confusing for us. It would just be really impossible to try and make sure that every one of the videos tied in somehow with the readings, tied in somehow with the reading forums and things. So again, just follow the week by week assignments on Moodle, and I think that should be fairly self-explanatory. Back to the assignments. The last assignment is the research paper, and I want you to write a 1 to 5 page double-spaced paper that shows an ability to do research. A 1 4 to 5 page, so not 1 page, sorry, 1 4 to 5 page double-spaced paper that shows the ability to do research and ability to see practical ministry applications from that research. Now notice carefully, there are 4 topics. I'm going to say that again. It's a 4 to 5 page double-spaced paper. Students are going to choose from these topics. Now these are the topic areas. You don't have to make this specifically your topic, but I want to, first of all, a paper on how did the church contend with the challenges of persecution and heresy in the early church. So that will be a paper topic. And again, within that area, you could narrow it down. I would recommend that you do. How did the debates and controversies over the Trinity in the 4th century contribute to the final form of the Nicene Creed? The lectures will make that fairly clear, but you can do some research on that. And this part of that question would be, why is that creed still important for the church today? Many churches still recite the Nicene Creed periodically, or even some weekly. The third possible topic is, what are the reasons that led the Reformers to oppose the Radical Reformation? That the Radical Reformation is a term that refers to Anabaptists and others, and again, there'll be some lectures on that. What does this phase of the Reformation teach the church today about unity and toleration? And it's frankly one of the overlooked areas when we deal with historical theology usually. So we'll have a couple of lectures on that at least. And I would like you to do some research on that on your own. And then finally, bringing it up to the more current issues, when, why, and how did evangelicalism arise? And evangelicalism is either a movement, or it's an identifier of a certain theological position, a tradition. And we'll talk about that. That will be toward the end of the course. But how to answer those questions help us define and understand evangelicalism today. That's a very big debate among many people today about what evangelicalism means, who's an evangelical, and I think understanding some of the origins, the when, where, and the when, why, and how of evangelicalism could really help very much in a very practical way in understanding your ministry today and where you are. These topics are the ones that are the only ones approved by the professor, but I would recommend that you, in choosing your topic, communicate to me how you plan to make that more specific or narrow it down. So again, if you followed along, each one of these assignments has a certain point value. Those point values add up to 1,000 points. So again, just summarizing there where those points are in the various assignments, be aware of that and make sure that you put forth the appropriate effort for each one of those assignment areas, the textbook reading, the reading forums, the weekly video summaries, and the paper, so that you will understand how your grade is going to be calculated. All due dates are posted on Moodle, and a number of points of information in the syllabus. I would encourage you to read the rest of the syllabus from this point on so that you can understand exactly how ABTS handles that. All assignments have to be in. We don't accept any late assignments, and we want to make sure that you complete the course and get full credit for it. So these other elements are on the syllabus. You can just, again, I would encourage you to look them over and make sure that you understand them. These are ABTS policies and such, and things that you need to do well on this class. Well, that's it for now. I'm supposed to try and keep these videos fairly short. I'm not too successful in this one. I hope this is clear, and looking forward to seeing you, or at least having you see me, in the weeks ahead. So Lord bless you for now, and thanks for joining up and signing up for this course, and I hope it's going to be profitable for all of us. God bless you.